We love living local. We are Scott and Kelly Greats, third generation Central New Yorkers who live, work, and play right here in the heart of New York.
The mission of this podcast is to shine a spotlight on the people, places, and events that make our community an amazing place to live.
We don't run ads. We don't talk politics. Our only ask is that you help us spread the love that we have for this community by sharing these episodes with your neighbors.
Now sit back, relax, and enjoy this episode.
All right, welcome back to another episode of Hey Neighbor. We always bring you intriguing people from around the 315 doing awesome things. Today, no exception. Welcome to the show, Mr. John Bartholomeo.
Thank you for having me. And we're going to grab some attention here in the first 4 minutes because a wise man once told me that the average attention span is 4 minutes. So buckle up, my friends, and hang around for much more than 4 minutes.
Wise man or wise ass? I don't know. I've been called both. One is accurate. But John is the owner of Mohawk Valley Wellness on River Road in Marcy. And yeah, let's get right to it. 81%, according to my research team, of health and fitness businesses do not stay open after their first year. You, my friend, are starting year 13. What's the secret?
The secret is getting individuals results, and it becomes a compounding virtuous cycle. Many facilities, ourselves in the past, we had a misalignment of what we were trying to do. And once you can blast through that hurdle and really understand what that individual wants and help them get to that, it's a game changer. And fun fact is that that's true across many domains, right? That's not just the health and fitness industry. That's most industries. If you can truly get inside the inner workings of what that person truly wants, they might not say it. If you can help them bring that to the surface and help them get it, it's a game changer, and will just multiply everything that you do across the board.
What's that look like for you guys? Is that like a series of interviews or an interview or questionnaire? How do you really dig into what people need or want?
Awesome question. You can't stop asking questions. If we think about it, somebody that was with us 13 years ago, ideally should have a very different goal now than they did 13 years ago. So yes, we ask a lot of questions when somebody starts, but then we have to continue to ask questions. We have to ask questions at 90 days. We have to ask questions at a year, at 3 years, at 5 years, because if we're doing our job, which we do an amazing job of, their goals should change and evolve over time. And then we have to think of the natural things that may happen. Members become parents. There's a new goal. Something changes there. Career changes. Everything changes. So to help somebody with what was important to them 13 years ago is likely not as important as it is now 13 years later. So great question. I think it's continuing to communicate with our clients, ask them what's important to them, and then listen and give them the best cutting edge accountability, support, and education to help them achieve what's important to them now.
People are going to have to go back and listen to that first 4 minutes again. There's all kinds
of there's a ton of information in there. I'm like, all right, how do you do this?
But I will say real quick, then I'll let my wife jump in. In the sales world, and I've been doing sales my whole career, 25, 26 years now. I tell people all the time, just what you said. If you want to improve the quality of your results, or if you want to increase the quantity of your results, improve the quality of your questions, and have that curious mind and really dig into the person that's in front of you, because you mentioned right out of the gate, it's all about results. And if we're going to get results, it doesn't matter what John wants or Scott wants or Kelly wants. It matters what the person in front of you wants. And that's going to be different for everyone. So golden nugget. There you go. We promised it right out of the gate. You got it.
Yeah.
All right, Cal.
All right. Let's talk about background a little bit. Tell us about yourselves before you opened the gym.
So I have a long history of enjoying working out. A high school athlete, local to the area, born and raised in 315, short stints away for the military, trained, always have been in great shape. Wanted to be an entrepreneur from the age of maybe 3 to 4 years old. At 5, 6, 7 years old, I can remember making menus for an imaginary restaurant. I can remember cutting grass. I've sold worms, lemonade, you name it, newspaper routes. Everything I could do to be an entrepreneur was already planted at a young age. The love of fitness and training was there all through middle school, through high school, through the military. And then I was exposed to CrossFit probably 15 years ago in Iraq, of all places. and came back home and just saw an opportunity to say, hey, look, this style of training is not available in Central New York right now. When I was in New Hartford at the time, I would have to go 45 minutes away to go find a place to train that way. And my work at that time was I was a private contractor, going back and forth overseas to Iraq for 90 days, home for 30, 90 in Iraq. And I just saw an opportunity. I said, hey, I can bring this style of training to Central New York. I can do something that I love. I get to work out. I get to help more people see the value of fitness. And that was 13 years ago. There's a lot in the middle, right? We started this business in a 2-stall garage in New Hartford with about 5 individuals. Now I'm looking out at 1,300 square feet with 4 full-time staff, 11 part-timers, close to 400 members. And the coolest part about it is the probably 100 plus lives that have changed for a positive trajectory from coming through the doors. Right. That's 13 years in like 60 seconds, but idea to conception with a ton of roller coaster in between. But I think, things to pull from that are, this is something I've loved to do from day one. I trained this morning at 5 a.m. It's something that I plan on doing, the physical fitness side of stuff, for as long as I can. And I truly, truly believe that an individual's life is improved by having some sort of physical training in their life. Maybe it's dance, maybe it's yoga, maybe it's lifting weights, martial arts, running, swimming. I will argue this point, aggressively, I guess you would say, that life improves if you're in motion and moving, and then pair that with a lot of other things: solid nutrition, a good night's sleep, positive, meaningful interactions with individuals on a daily basis. And I think that's a recipe for a longer, healthier, more fulfilling life. And I say this all the time to members. When I hear something, I usually guinea pig it on myself. I say, all right, I'm gonna be the litmus test, try it out. And then once I'm like, yeah, this is working, I just dump on anybody that has a set of ears. That's why I love jumping on podcasts. Like, look, more people can hear about this. The world is a better place when you're moving. The world's a better place when you're eating better, when you're getting a good night's sleep. Everybody wins. And I want more people to win.
So tell people that don't know, like CrossFit, give them like a quick idea of what that looks like.
So you're going to lift weights, you're going to do body weight movements, you're going to mix it all together. It's a mixed bag, right? Their tagline is constantly varied functional movement performed at high intensity. The person on the street doesn't know what that means. So my elevator pitch is, we lift weights, we do body weight movements, we run, we put it all together in a fun atmosphere of other individuals in a coached class. But something that we've learned over a long time is that that's an amazing program for a segment of the population. And about 6 years ago, we started to branch out and do other different things as well, because there are other segments of the population that CrossFit's not the best solution for. Exercise still needs to be part of it. Nutrition still needs to be a part of it. So what we've done over the last 13 years is said, hey, going back to Scott's question, meet new member Sally and say, what's truly important to you? What do you want to achieve? And then we help make a professional recommendation and say, awesome. Maybe it's our Kickstart program that looks nothing like CrossFit. Maybe it's personal training. Maybe it is CrossFit. Maybe you've been training and you just want to come. We had literally, true story data point. We had a gentleman walk in. He's a semi-professional snowboarder. He's a heck of an athlete, and walked in and said, hey, I've been doing this stuff on my own in my garage. It's just not cutting it. I want to do it with other individuals. And he walked right in, and now he's doing CrossFit with us, all the time. So it's one training method. It's one tool, right? Think about my business. Our business is a toolbox of tools to help people live happier and healthier lives. I can't use the hammer every single time. I might need a screwdriver. I might need a putty knife. But the goal is to help individuals build happier and healthier lives. And we've built a robust toolbox to help as many people as we can.
Awesome to hear so much passion coming out of you. Awesome that you found an opportunity in an area that definitely needed you and your passion for this. And you say that you would argue with anyone that people need to be moving. I don't know if people would actually argue that point. I think they know it. They probably have excuses as to why they don't do it. But ultimately, any company is all about culture. Right. And so I think you had mentioned 16 plus, maybe even higher, coaches and instructors, nutritionists, life coaches, all different types of people. What are you looking for in a person? Like, what does it take to be on your team? And would you consider that really your unique value that you offer?
I think that's a huge part of our success, guy. I just had lunch with a close friend, and we were talking about the retention of key staff in this business for us has been why we've been able to grow and compound over the years. And one of the things is our core values. I can rattle them off. We lead by example. We're conduits of energy. We constantly seek self-improvement, and we love what we do. I have to be able to rattle those off without any hesitation, because I cannot ask my staff to do that if I don't know them. Now, on top of knowing them, I also have to do them, which puts me underneath an immense microscope to say, John, you need to show up. You need to do all the things you just said, and you need to do it to the best of your ability level every single day that you can, because I cannot sit in my chair. I cannot talk to my staff and ask them to do that if I'm honestly not doing that. So the big one above all of them is lead by example. If I'm going to ask our coaches and our members to move and to eat well and to do these things, then I need to be the front runner, no questions asked, and hold myself to a higher standard than everybody else. And I think that has been a cornerstone of what has allowed us to grow. Because I jokingly was talking to my friend at lunch and said, you probably wouldn't want to go to a dentist that his teeth are falling out of his head while he's working on your teeth. Like, it probably just wouldn't want to work with a financial advisor that's asking you for gas money. It's very beneficial to get out there. Everybody, I'm sure we've all had different bosses. Time in the military was very useful for me as I had great leaders, I had mediocre leaders, and I had some poor leaders. And you look at what inspired you with the great leaders was they did what they were asking you to do. Now, does that mean I go in and coach every class? Absolutely not. Does that mean I clean the gym? Absolutely not. Are there times where I will coach? Of course. Are there times where I may need to step in and clean the gym, or like we were talking about before the call, work on some technology, a broken speaker? Sure. But I cannot be above any role in my business. And if needed, I can step back into that role and perform it at a high level. But I think the crux of it is having to truly not just talk about it, but literally get in there and actually be a great example of all the things we're asking our staff and our members to do. Because really, it goes from me down to the staff, from the staff down to the members.
Awesome.
Okay.
We had a couple, like a framework here of questions.
Yeah, you hit it all.
You hit like the next three things we want to talk about.
Right? So let's talk about youth. Let's talk about your passion for mentoring local youth, the future.
Yep.
How are you involved with kids?
So the reason why I look at it now is as a new father. Right? I have a 4-year-old son and a 1-year-old son, and I constantly look and think about what will their lives be in 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. And then you can, obviously, I'm going to be very biased with my own children, but then you look and say, hey, outside of that, who's coming to this facility that are younger? We have athlete programs for high school and middle school. We have a jiu-jitsu facility inside the program. And then I've gone and spoke to many, many local schools about the importance of nutrition, about the importance of movement, about the importance of just trying to set a standard for yourself and trying to constantly push that a little bit, because as we all know, anything that you learn that's worthwhile as an adult, we're like, man, if I had that 5 or 10 years ago, if I had that 20 years ago. So I think having wisdom and not sharing it is selfish. I want a better world. I want a better world for myself. I want a better world for my children. I want a better world for the community, right? Our tagline at the gym is building community through fitness. So that means if you're 86 or 6 or 16 or 46, I want to make this, start small, Central New York, the country better through my positive impact. And specifically with youth, a lot of it is the education piece. Unfortunately, nutrition, movement, this stuff gets eroded and is not taught, in my opinion, not taught very well currently. So I'll help fill that void and I'll beat that drum as long as I can, especially because it's so impactful. If you can get a good grasp on, hey, the importance of moving, training, exercise, whatever you want to call it, if you can get a good grasp on nutrition, then you don't ever have to try to learn it in your 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. It's just the way I explain it is your life, if you are illiterate, if you cannot read the written word, is so difficult. If you become literate, the world opens up to you. It's a whole new world. We try to help individuals learn nutritional and exercise literacy because the same thing happens. If you start to understand how to eat, if you start to understand the value of sleep and how they all intertwine, your life can take we see it all the time. Your life can take a complete different trajectory of, again, more energy, more productivity, more positive, more self-esteem, like all these great things that we would want for ourselves, but why would we not want it for our children? So that's my pieces. I speak as often as I'm asked. We have a lot of youth programs here, and I say it all the time. I'm selfish. I want a better world for myself, for my kids, for everybody that's around here. Who doesn't?
And I do think it's more of a focus now for at least for our children. We all three of our kids are athletes, and just some of the choices that some of our kids make with food, or the importance of knowing that they need to exercise, that it's exciting that they're starting those habits at a young age. So it's not bad habits that they're trying to break when they're older, because
Absolutely.
we know as older people, metabolism and your body changes very drastically the older you get. Whereas if they are in this routine at a young age, it's just going to be a lot easier for them to grow old and healthy.
Yeah, I'll
idea,
piggyback. Go
yeah,
ahead.
good.
No, I'll piggyback off of that, and we think starting habits or developing habits is difficult, but we all know that breaking bad habits is actually more difficult than starting a new one. So the easiest time to get into this rhythm is when you're a kid. I don't want to spend a lot of time here, but just for the sake of putting it out into the universe and saying it, it's kind of what's wrong with our healthcare system too. We spend so much time and money trying to fix sick people instead of, actually preventing people from getting sick, which is all the things you're talking about. And then the other thing that we don't have to dive into, but I do want it to be said, is that a big part of the mental health situation we have in this country is because people aren't doing the things that you're talking about. And, mental health really does start in many ways with physical health and habits. So kudos to you for getting out there and doing that early.
You're absolutely true. One of the quotes we have on the wall at the gym is, the chains of habit are often too weak to be felt until they're too strong to be broken. So understanding that you don't want to fall into poor routines for 5, 10, 20, 30 years and then that's very, very, very difficult. There's a great saying out there: it's easier to raise strong children than to fix broken men. And it's very true. Where I was going with that again is a lot of different places, but yes, absolutely. The idea of getting identity, helping individuals learn that is part of their identity, that my name is John, I like to run, I like to rock climb, whatever it is, right? There's no wrong movement. It's when we haven't moved for a very, very long time. And Scott, you hit the nail on the head. It's very difficult. Mental and physical health they're intertwined. To say, oh, I'm just going to work on my physical health and it's not going to have a positive impact on my mental health, that you can't say, oh, my physical health doesn't. They tie right into each other. Think about any exercise you've done, cycling, anything, and you get done. You have a dopamine wash that is second to none, which is one of the greatest antidepressants out there, and it costs nothing. It would be a pair of running shoes if you just wanted to pick up running. But it's difficult for individuals to get started if they haven't done it for a long time. That's the challenge.
Yeah, I say all the time, one of the most dangerous words in the English language is later. Right? Everyone's always going to do it later.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'll do that tomorrow. I'll start tomorrow.
So don't put it off.
All right, let's do your.
Well, let me hit this one real quick. So I've got a buddy that's a physical therapist, and he tells me all the time, Scott, you'll never be able to outrun your mouth. And what he means by that is you can exercise 10 hours a day, but if you're eating like crap or drinking things that aren't, good for you, you can't out exercise or outrun what you're putting in your mouth. One unique thing that you guys do there is it's not just a gym, it's not just a fitness center. You offer nutrition coaches and life coaches, and so if you can hit quickly on those types of programs that aren't just the sweating it out at the gym.
Your friend is absolutely true. You could do every program that we have inside this facility and easily make 1 or 2 stops on the way home and eat and counteract all of it. So one of the things that is a common thread across all of the programs that we do is we help educate individuals to understand their unique caloric needs and their unique protein needs. Because you said earlier in the conversation, we're talking about the business, helping individuals get results. If the individuals don't know, because they've never been taught, how many calories they need and how much protein they need, they're going to be trying to run and do push-ups and do all these things that we ask them to do for a 1% return. Where a unique thing that we do with any program, from group classes, personal training, any of our programs, is these education piece. We have a machine that'll show you, Scott, based on your age, your height, and your gender, this is the amount of calories that you need, because that's the base knowledge that'll help you if you want health, longevity, performance in the gym. So really the education piece is what makes us unique compared to many other facilities in the area. Everybody has dumbbells. Everybody has rowing machines. That's a common, you can buy them right now. Where we excel and what sets us different is this continuation of educate, hold people accountable, give them better tools. So we have tracking sheets. We're actually turning it into an app, so that way individuals can basically track throughout the day. Did they exercise? How was their sleep? Did they stay within their caloric range? Did they get enough protein? Because we know that if they're doing these key things often enough, that they're likely going to see an uptick in not only their physical health, but we just said it, but also their mental health. So the education piece of the base level of nutrition is what I think sets us apart, which is why we see results all the time. I was telling somebody the other day, I'm not saying to brag, it's just the data, is that we have a backlog of success stories that we can't even share in a fast enough sequence, because people just keep doing really, really well, which is great. We want that. So,
I saw on your website. Yeah, we don't need to dive into this, but one thing that really caught my eye on the website, and I applaud you for, is you made mention of most gyms want to sell the $30 membership and hope no one shows up. We're just the opposite, right? Pricing a little bit higher, but we want people to show up and see the results. And so good for you for taking that path. Man, we could go on forever with you. You talk about leading by example. I love the energy. I love the passion, but we don't want to take all of your time. So let's wrap it up. We always end with what we call our rapid fire 5 questions. These are designed to be a little more fun, a little looser. So we'll start with, I'm guessing you have some sort of playlist that you listen to when you exercise. What's a song on there that might surprise some people?
I'll go silent mode. I'll just go no music sometimes.
No music.
All right.
No music. Just listen to my own inner dialogue. My own inner dialogue.
All right. What's your guilty pleasure food? Now, we know nutrition is important, but if you're gonna cheat or have something you shouldn't have, what are you going for?
I'm a pizza guy. Love pizza. We live in Central New York. We've got some amazing pizza, and to live here and not have it, in my opinion, is disheartening. Don't do that. Enjoy your pizza once in a while.
That's right. Still be human.
I like that. Moderation, right?
Moderation.
Absolutely.
All right. We talked about later being the enemy, or complacency being the enemy of progress. What is the best advice you can give someone right now? End of the year, we're getting into the whole, and I hate it, the whole New Year resolution, New Year, new me, right? And
so bogus.
But that aside,
any time of year,
I'm not
right?
knocking it, right? Give someone the opportunity to reset. So if someone's on the fence and they're thinking about jumping in with you, what's the best piece of advice you can give them?
I would say I encourage everybody to measure backwards. So always get out of this, my neighbor did this thing, my sister did this thing. But it's compared John of December 4th, 2023 to John of December 4th, 2022. So look for, and you can, it might be harder for some individuals than others, find your wins and start writing them down, even if they're small. So we have a culture of go big or go home. Okay, it's January 1st. I'm gonna go 7 days a week. If you haven't gone 7 days last month, you're not going to go 7 days a week. Set small, measurable goals that you can hit. Even it's like one step above what you're doing. and then be consistent with that step. So it's the opposite of go big and go home. It's just take one step consistently and always measure yourself against yourself in the past, because then when you see the wins, you get the dopamine rush, and then it'll make you want to do more rather than comparing yourself against others or huge lofty goals.
Yeah, one of the most powerful forces in nature is momentum, right? And so what you're talking about is harnessing that momentum. Small goals stack up, compound into big things. That's great advice.
All right. What's one thing you wish you would have known before you opened your business?
More on the human psychology side. Everybody attributes a gym to physical exercise and all of these things. And success in the fitness realm, much like any other realm, is what's in between your ears. I would have done 80% more time studying human psychology and way less time on barbells and push-ups. Because to get people to touch the barbells and do the push-ups, it's got to be what's in between the ears, and helping people understand that is a life-changing process if you can help them to do that. So more psychology.
Super cool.
You served our country as a Marine. We thank you for that. That allowed you to travel the world. You've been all over the place. You choose to raise your family here, run your business here. Why do you love living local?
The people. I've been all over the world. I think we have genuinely some of the kindest, most honest, hardworking individuals that I've seen in my travels. You've got the amazing, you have some seasons are longer than the others, but we do have 4 seasons, and it's just a great area.
Yeah, no doubt. How do people connect with you?
John Bartholomeo on Facebook, John at MohawkValleyWellness.com, and then MohawkValleyWellness.com for the website.
Awesome.
Anything in particular you'd like to plug? Any events coming up? Anything people should know about you, the business, or anything else?
No, I would just say if you're watching this and you want to get started, just take action today. Make a small goal, jot it down. Again, if you want professional coaching, that's what we do. Find us on the website and reach out.
All right. John
Awesome.
Bartholomew, owner of Mohawk Valley Wellness, River Road in Marcy. Thank you for your time.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. Have a great day, guys.
Thank you for tuning in to another Love Living Local episode. Before you head out to support all things Central New York, we just have one ask of you. Please help us share the love we have for our community by sharing this podcast with a neighbor of yours. We truly appreciate you. In fact, you are one of the many reasons we love living local.